How you doing, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about the song Once Upon a Time in the West. This was a Dire Straits song that was done in 1979 on their Communique album. This is a great song, a lesser known song. Lady Rider, I think, was on that album, really did much better than this song. But I really like this song. Has sort of a Western feel, although I don't think that was the main theme when it was written. I'm going to try to show you how to play it on acoustic guitar. The guitar itself is in standard tuning. I've got some delay on the amplifier. And as before, I'm going to play a little snippet of the song, and then we will dissect the intro and then each of the parts. Not a very hard song, but I think it's fun to play. Some people get a cheap left brake and the speed limit, killing the pedestrians for a minute, crossing up the progress, driving on the grass, leaving just another room to pass. Sunday driver never took a test. Oh yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and start at the beginning here with the introduction. The reason that there's some delay in this song is because Mark Knopfler, when he's playing it on his guitar, obviously doing a great job of lead guitar with a lot of delay. I can't even hope to do any of that, but I want to do some of the highlight riffs that I think are important that make this song. So the song starts out sort of as an intro riff, and it starts up here on the G string in the 10th fret, and you're going to immediately hammer or even slide up to the 12th fret. Whoops. And then you're going to go to the 10th fret of the B string, and then you're going to hammer on the 13th fret of the B string and do sort of a trill on that. So that's 10 to 12 on the G. Okay. Then you're going to go over here to the 7th fret of the D string. And then you're going to go to the 5th fret of the G string. To the 7th fret of the G string. Okay. Or you can go from 7 and bend up to 9. So it's this, what we have so far is like this. Whoops. Whoops. Okay. And then you're going to go to some chords, which are the A minor, to a G, to an F. Okay. And then you're going to jump and do another chord little sequence here from 10 to 8 on the B string. And then you're going to do the same thing, A minor to G to an F. These are all bar chords. And then you basically are going to start into the verse, but it's a verse without words. So you're going to go into, get the beat. And what I like to do is sort of hammer on, lifting up, getting the beat of the song. So you got to listen to the music in order to get the beat. So now that little embellishment there is made by jumping to a D. This is a half bar D, and then just lifting off. And that chord there, when you lay your fingers and you're just playing these middle strings, that is a D minor 7th, 5th, okay? So that's how you get that sound. So it's... You're gonna do that twice. Back to A minor again, back to G. Now, that's the slide from C, half bar C, on the 3rd fret, laying down here on the 5th fret on the D, G, and the B string. So you're going from a C to a D. Now you got to keep the rhythm going through this whole little chord riff. So you got to keep that rhythm. I'll start again. Minor, G, to a C to a D, back to A minor, to a C, A minor, to a D minor, a G, to an A minor. I think Mark Knopfler is playing that part during that when you return back to the A minor. Doing that little trill, okay? So that's how the verses are. The chords are very simple. Just got to keep the rhythm, which is kind of a unique rhythm in this song. So let's get into the verse, finally the first vocal verse. So it's... Some people get a cheap laugh breaking the speed limit. And you're going to do that. Scoring the pedestrians for a minute. Crossing up the progress, driving on the grass. G, C to D. Back to C. Sunday driver never took a test. Oh yeah, once upon a time in the West. So it's D minor, oh yeah, to a G. Once upon a time, to a G bar, to an A minor, West. Okay. All right, so that's the verse, very simple verse. So let's head down to the next part. Another verse playing exactly the same way. And then there's a Mark Knopfler solo, and that is basically over the same chords. It starts out on a D, goes from a D to an F to a G. So it's sort of a transition back, almost very much like the beginning of the song. So let me just pick up on the last line of the second verse. And so it's once upon a time in the West. Okay, so you play the whole verse again, and basically you're going to end up again on the D. to an F. And then it goes to the third verse, which is the Mother Mary, your children are slaughtered, playing the same thing with the same chords. And then you just stay on that last line at the end of the third verse, and that is, you guessed, once upon a time in the West. Just keep playing that same D minor to a G to an A minor. And then Mark Knopfler is finishing out on a solo on those chords. D minor to G to an A minor. All right. It doesn't get much easier than that. Once Upon a Time in the West is a great song. I've seen some mashups on YouTube where they take one of my favorite all-time films, Once Upon a Time in the West, and mash it up with this song. It's a great song. I think it's a fun one. If you have any questions about this or any of my videos, go ahead and leave a comment or a question at my YouTube channel. And as always, I'll catch you later on.